and welcome to Reading with Kermie. Chris here, aka Kermie. How's everybody doing this early afternoon? It's about 12:24 to be exact, in the early afternoon, and freshly just got out of the shower and did my yoga stuff and feel a lot better to start my day. So I hope you guys are doing well. Like I said, welcome to Reading with Kermie. This is my first Reading with Kermie back on Facebook and the social media world, so I'm pretty excited about that. Yesterday I did a Kermie karaoke, and it went pretty well, I think. I enjoy doing so. Since I've been off Facebook for like a month, I've done my Reading with Kermies and Kermie karaoke's, but they've just gone straight to YouTube since I've taken a Facebook break. And now I'm coming back on, slowly but surely, so pretty nice to come back. I miss a lot of connections that I had kept connected with on Facebook, but needed a break. Every once in a while, everybody I think needs a little break, and that's okay. Just a little shift back in perspective and get a little bit of balance back, and what we need balance for, each to their own, and I'm actually pretty excited to get back on Reading with Kermie and share with you guys. We have been reading Don't Stress the Small Stuff, It's Just Small Stuff, and book 2 is With the Family, and we are getting, I think after this chapter we got 3 left. It's 100 chapters in each of the Don't Stress the Small Stuff books, and we're on chapter 97. And I love every time I open this book up, it's something that my spirit tells me I need to hear. So, this chapter is called, we'll get right into it, Become Clutter Free. You guys ready? Let's do some Reading with Kermie, shall we? Become Clutter Free, chapter 97. Alright. As simple as this suggestion is, it's worth discussing. And as simple as it sounds, it's actually not an easy task. It's taken a great deal of persistence, but I'd estimate that I have eliminated more than 90% of the clutter in my life. I'm convinced that this effort has helped me immeasurably in becoming a more easygoing person, as well as in my desire to stop sweating the small stuff at home. Virtually every day, different forms of stuff, in quotes, much of which is useless and only takes up physical and mental space, comes into our lives without a concerted and conscious effort to counter this accumulation. We end up with piles and piles of useless junk to contend with. The reason clutter comes into our life, whether we want it to or not. So if we don't have a method of getting rid of at least as much on average as is coming in, it is inevitable that the piles will become even larger and more difficult to sort through. And that's the truth. Many people fool themselves that they will get to it soon, or fall prey to the almost always false belief that they may need it someday. This latter excuse is validated by remembering a time or two when they needed something and found it buried under stacks of boxes in the back of a garage. Clutter includes anything and everything that takes up space, distracts our attention, is irritating and in the way, or in a practical never used, and is practically never used. There you go. Some of the most common forms of clutter are piles of junk mail, scraps of paper, old newspapers, phone books, magazines, clothes, and towels we no longer use, gifts and other items we don't know what to do with, old bikes and exercise equipment, piles of unused scrap, lumber, non-deductible receipts, keys no longer need. Toys the kids never ever play with. Old letters and other mail. Books that we have either read or don't intend to read. Memorabilia and other so-called sentimental things. Knickknacks we don't even like to look at. Excessive dishes or pots and pans, silverware, and other kitchen goods, and so forth. When we get right down to it, most homes are filled to the brim with stuff that does little else than fill up space. I've been in many homes where the closets were absolutely filled up with things that were never used and where there wasn't even an intention of using a single item in the closets. And when I've been brave enough to ask the question, why do you keep all this stuff? The answer was usually something like, oh, I don't know. We've always had it. I believe that the reason so many people end up letting clutter take over their lives is that they have never felt or experienced the joy of a clutter-free home. Oh boy. Most people, in fact, had parents who did precisely the same thing. Often the first time an attic is cleaned out is when a person dies or is forced out of the home for health reasons. There is, however, something incredibly peaceful about a clutter-free home. Opening a closet and actually having space to hang up something. Opening a drawer without having to use force. Being able to find virtually everything you look for. Having open any space, having open airy space where there is nothing at all. There is something effortless and pleasant about sitting at your desk and being able to see the surface and to find your address book. There is something equally freeing about opening a kitchen cabinet and being able to choose easily and quickly from your favorite pots and baking trays without having to sort through and push back as you are trampling through a thick forest. Becoming clutter-free is an easy way to simplify your life and to feel free, more organized, and in control. And it gives you a peaceful feeling of space. It lifts your emotional spirit by giving you a feeling of openness, of being connected to rather than overwhelmed by life. You can begin in simple ways. Empty out drawers and closets. Give things away to people who will actually use them. Have a garage sale, and rather than keep the things you don't get rid of, give everything that's left to your favorite charity. Cancel any magazines you don't actually read and recycle all the ones you have kept. Go through your sentimental things and create one special box for the things you'd really like to save and give everything else away. Go through your clothes. Do you really wear them all? If no, would it be nice to give the things you don't wear to someone who will? And couldn't you use the tax deduction anyway? Yeah, couldn't you use the tax deduction anyway? Maybe you could implement a new clothing rule. If you haven't worn it in 2 years, give it away today. Most people who try to simplify their lives in this way are thrilled at the result. For some, it becomes a way of life that seems easy to manage. For others, it's simply an exercise in making their lives a little easier. I've found that as I accumulate less and get rid of the things I don't actually use, I truly appreciate those things that I do decide to keep. I hope you'll give this strategy a try, because if you do, my guess is that you'll be glad you did. Whew. That was a good chapter, and very meaningful for me actually today, and these days I should say, and that's something I actually recently been doing. I recently cleaned out my closet and, got a giveaway bag and a throwaway bag. Been doing it to my little bedroom in my apartment, and it feels good, And plus, I firmly believe and have experienced this many times in my life, the less clutter you have, the stuff you don't want, your mind becomes more free and clear. Just like that book explained, that chapter explained, and it's for real. You know, you see clutter all over the place, your brain gets chaotic, and you start feeling the yuck, you know, and you know, I hate to play the blame game every time I think about this, but I look around my apartment. You know, my sister's been my roommate for the last 2.5, 3 years, and I need to share this with her more and more, because, you know, she got piles. We got not even half the apartment to use, and half of it is just filled with crap. Stuff that, you know, just like that chapter explained. To my left, there's piles of paperwork. To my right, there's our dining room table just filled with stuff, and closets full. Sometimes those readings come just in time, you know, and I've been dealing with that frustration ever since she's been my roommate, and she's been my roommate several times in my life, and it's been really difficult, because also every time we get somewhere with it and get rid of stuff, more stuff comes, and she accumulates more, and it just starts the process over again. So, you know, that madness is for real, and I'm sure a lot of you guys listening do experience this and can relate. So, you know, I've been for my room, for example, because I'm doing the best I can every day to take my personal responsibility and everything. And what I've been doing is cleaning out my room, and every once in a while there's an item that I don't want, or I can't get to somewhere to donate it, or to one of those clothing boxes around town, because I mean, I'm limited and I take the bus and everything. But anyway, I take that item, whatever it is, clothes, pair of boots, a stuffed animal, whatever, out of my door, and just stick a free sign on it, you know. And, you know, accumulation like that, letting it go, it works, you know. Eventually somebody finds it or whatever, and I hope that it doesn't fill their life with clutter as well. But it's a good start, and, you know, I do have a neighbor that works at one of those thrift stores, so I'm hoping eventually I can get my roommate motivated to do the same thing, and we can start ending the clutter. So it's very important for me. You know, I've lived that way for a long time, trying to be, you know, clutter-free. You know, there's, of course, my desk gets cluttered with stuff, but I eventually just let it go. So, you know what? It's a process for sure. It's definitely a process, and it does make a big difference in your life and your brain capacity and clutter that's inside your head and spirit. You know, and I hope you guys got something out of that reading, and I sure did. It reminds me that, you know, that's the way to be. And I don't like to have stuff that I don't need, you know, and I get it. That chapter was saying, you know, your parents are probably the same way. My mother does the same thing, and she still, you know, she's retired now, and she still gets, you know, has to do the cleaning every once in a while and maneuver around her house to get to here to there, and it's very frustrating to witness, and it's hard to say stuff when, you know how it is. But anyway, you know, it's a process, like I said, and we do the best we can with what we got. And I hope you guys also, like myself, become more clutter-free in your life to make it a little easier. So, yes, we're already at 14 and a half minutes, and I like to keep my videos semi-short so you guys can get through it. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great day, and today you can have less clutter. Make your life a little easier. I like to welcome myself back on social media, and I hope you guys enjoy my videos and whatnot. And please like, comment anytime. So I love feedback. So I will talk to you guys soon, and you guys have a wonderful day. It's my lunchtime, so I'm going to get to eating. Peace. Love you guys.